Hey guys, my name is Andrea Lewis. I don't know if any of you guys have seen my channel or not. If you have not and you're listening, you've never been here before, I would like to let you know that I'm just in love with the arts. I always have been. I've been very interested in music, dancing, singing. Well, I kind of said that already. Modeling. I do recreational modeling, and I love fashion, and I'm interested in creative writing, and I even there for a long time was interested in acting, and I'm still doing things with acting. So I'm very interested in the arts, and they really make me who I am. I'm very interested in learning and the arts. And without them, I'm not who I am. Because they give me zest for life. That is me. But when I was in high school, I wanted to be an author, and that took precedence over all my other interests at the time. Although I was drawn to theater and acting. And by the time I got to college, something had happened in my life to where I felt like my imagination was shot, and I didn't want to write as much. So I got a degree in theater with an emphasis in acting. However, I wasn't as interested in that when I graduated college, and I just wanted to come home and read all the time, which I did, and I worked and I read. And after a while of that, I discovered that my imagination was actually not shot, and that you could get ideas as you went along. So at age 26, I picked up writing for the first time ever. That means my writing quality isn't exactly up to the par that I want it to be, but I realized my imagination was not shot like I thought it was. I've gotten it back. And I got to the point where I was like, maybe this is what I really want out of life. Like, starting to think that way again. And I started thinking that I really feel like I have a really good idea here, and I really want to finish this book. So here are the 3 things that I have learned about writing. And one of them is it's time consuming. So I was just kind of working on it here and there whenever I wanted to, also going about my busy life, pursuing acting to the side, and in doing my day job and whatever else I was doing in my spare time. Well, let's just say I realized it's never gonna get done at that rate. So I've realized that you really have to buckle down, and all the nights you're home watching Netflix, instead, you should be writing, which is what I've started doing here recently. And you would think, oh, but this is what you're interested in. This should be easy. That brings me to the second thing I have learned about creative writing, and that is that it is very, very difficult. Very. As I have said in one of my previous videos about writing. I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I tried to write music, and I don't think that's this hard. I have tried to done acting, and I even will tell you those things are hard, but I don't think any of them are this hard. Because not only there are so many different details and factors that go into writing. Okay, there's making all the characters talk and speak differently than others. That alone can be difficult. Then you have to figure out what all these different characters' personalities are. That alone can take time. Then you have to develop all their backstories, and the backstories that are important to the story. That can also take time, especially if you're picky like me and you want it to come out perfectly. Then, in addition to that, you also have to, what else is there? You want to get the descriptions down on your writing and making sure you're describing the world and what they're wearing well. And in addition to just describing that well, then you also want to make sure you figure out what they're wearing and what the place looks like so that you know what to describe. And then I feel like that's not even it. I feel like there are so much more factors. I feel like I'm not even listening to everything, but there is just like, and then you want to make sure that the arc of the story is lining up well, that the arc of the characters lining up well. There's just so many little details And this story is supposed to be very long. So if you really pay attention to all those really little details, imagine how long this process really takes. And how difficult it really is if you're trying to make every little detail perfect. Yes. So I have learned how very difficult this actually is. And that brings me to the third thing that I have learned about writing. And that is, I am a very, very, very indecisive writer. I used to be incredibly indecisive, but I thought I was getting better. I was able to go to the store and order something right away, or figure out if I wanted it right away or not. But now that I'm writing on all those little details I've mentioned to you, I'm pretty indecisive. I'm like, what do I do? Do I do this one? Or do I do this one? I can never figure it out. Or do I... It takes me forever to decide on everything. What the kind of backstory is, and it really holds me back, and it makes everything take way longer. Makes the process feel painful and frustrating when really it should be enjoyable. And it makes it feel... like I said, so it kind of makes it very difficult and time consuming. So part of it's not just how it is, part of it is, because you'll talk to almost any writer and they'll tell you it's really hard. A lot of them probably will, and that it's time consuming. But I have to wonder if it's a little more difficult for me because I am incredibly indecisive about every single thing that I write almost. And it is very annoying. So that's one thing I've learned about being a newbie writer. And let me say, it is the bane of my existence. The bane of my existence. Yes. So basically I realized that I also learned, maybe we could throw a fourth thing in here, but it kind of goes with all these things, that if I want this story to actually get done, then I have to work on it almost every night instead of watching Netflix. I was just kind of working on it whenever I wanted to, here and there. Well, let me tell you, all those little details that I talked to you about, coupled with my indecisiveness, yeah, I think that sounds like that story is never gonna get finished at that rate. That's like moving at a snail's pace when you gotta walk 2 miles. Yeah, I don't think a small tiny snail moving at a snail's pace, having to go 2 miles, how long do you think that's gonna take? That might take 19 years. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be alive that long. Well, we really don't know anything, but I'm just saying. So basically, I have learned a lot from this process. And I've also learned you have to give up your social life. Maybe we could draw a fifth thing in there. Sorry guys, I'm new to this laptop. And the thing is, I've kind of been wanting to get more of a social life and maybe find a boyfriend, because I've never had one, and that may sound surprising. But this is I live near the St. Louis area, and I don't settle, and I would like to be attracted to him, I'd like to like his personality, think he's fun, and I'd like him to have artistic interests. Believe it or not, I have a hard time finding that in this area. But I also was very shy in high school, and I didn't talk to anyone, and I spent a lot of my college time toward the end studying. So I had the same problem. And then I came home from college, and I wanted to read and work, and I pretty much did that. And my job wasn't really good at meeting people my age, so it's still not. So that's part of the reason I wanted to go into acting, was actually to meet people. So, but now here I am, thinking of withdrawing from that and working on writing, because I want the end result. Yeah, that's another thing I've learned about writing. You kind of have to give your life up if you want this to happen. So, if I'm interested in many artistic things, or at least have been. I still am somewhat, though, let's face it. You can take the art out of, I don't know how to say that right. You can take the girl out of the art. So maybe I'm not doing modeling recreational anytime recently. Maybe I'm not singing, trying to create songs anymore in my spare time. But you can't take the art out of the girl. So I still like those things quite a bit, I'm sure. So to those of you who are autistic and are into those types of things and not really writing and never had the desire to write, one, be happy that you don't have to give up your social life and that you don't have this problem that I have. Two, I do not understand you. I do not understand how you can never get the desire to write. I've always had that desire, even if I am not writing. Even when I didn't write for years, I think I had that desire. So I do not understand you. Yet at the same time, I feel like my desires conflict because I feel like, oh, I want to be social, but then I want to write. And maybe it's just because I'm a Pisces. I'm of two minds. We have two fish swimming in the opposite direction. So part of me wants to live my life, and then part of me wants to make it into something tangible. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to have your cake and eat it too, especially if you have a full-time job. Maybe I could have my cake and eat it too if I was actually making a living off of this. Maybe in the future. Maybe when I'm 30, which is why I really should bust my butt off trying to get this done. But again, the socialness. Oh, and then all the other things I should be doing too, right? So, I've learned a lot. Let's just say that I have learned a lot. And if you don't have this problem because you're not interested in writing, like I said, be happy. Good for you. You don't have to have this dilemma, this issue. But again, I do not understand you. And fellow writers, please tell me if I'm not the only one out there who feels this way. Maybe they're trying to find someone to have a little fun with, but they like writing and they know they need to devote themselves more to that. Does anyone else have this conflict? Please let me know. Please let me know if you're single and you want some things, but you're also into writing and you feel like you need to focus on that, but you're kind of like, let me know if I'm not the only one, because I would really like to know. So now you know some of the things that I have learned about the creative writing process, and they are quite interesting, in my opinion. So, in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on the things that you learned about the creative writing process, or what you think about having to give up your life for writing. Please let me know. Or if you just want to say anything in general, but don't be mean. Don't be hating. Okay? Okay. So come on, let me know what you think in the comments below. And thank you for listening. Happy writing. Or should I say, if you're not a writer, then just happy art. Okay. Good night. Good night.